All right, guys, back to the daily uploads. I was just in Dubai and unfortunately slacked a little bit. However, we're going to proceed as we left off and stick with the daily video. So, this is going to be a quick one on just how to get that chiseled six pack you've been looking for. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I used to struggle with this all the time when I was younger. I used to watch all the little shortcut videos, six pack shortcuts. How do I do it? How do I do it? And I found out everyone just lies. Like they all just chat shit. I've done it. I know how to do it, and it's fucking easy. All right, and I'm going to explain exactly how you do it right now. Very, very simple. There are three main rules that you need to follow. One, the most important, is a low body fat percentage. If you carry a certain amount of body fat around your stomach or your waist, you will not see your abs because they are covered by the body fat. Therefore, in order to see them, we must lose that body fat percentage. And the way we do that is via calorie deficit. So that's simple. Now, you don't need to train abs to see your abs. If you have been training regularly and you've been doing compound lifts, your core has been stabilized to facilitate those lifts in the first place. And as a result, your abs have been trained. Therefore, you should have a decent foundation regardless. So once you lose a certain amount of body fat, you get to around sub 10%, you will see definition and you will have a pretty chiseled six pack. Now, as I've kind of begun my cut, I want to take it to the next level. I have started training abs more often. However, I got to this point here, but it's not very, very lean, but I got there and I'm pretty happy with that without training any abs. Now I want to take it a step further. I want to go to 6%. And once I get there, I want to have that defined look because I want you to understand abs is still a muscle. It needs to be trained. So I'm training that 3 times a week, just like any other muscle, tracking what I'm lifting and making sure that I'm adding weight on every single week. I think a lot of people will just treat abs as if they would, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but like you wouldn't do just press ups for chest, right? So don't just do like little leg raises and then don't increase the weight. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. Try and do something on the machine, or if you're going to do kind of sit ups, be adding little weights, even if it's 2.5 kilo, 5 kilo, just do that. And that's kind of how you take it to the next level. But I want to stress that that's optional. Like you don't need that. Like you can get to a decent level without that. It just takes a calorie deficit, a low body fat percentage, and some heavy lifting and some high protein. So I've done a video already on how to get shredded, how to set up your calorie deficit, but you kind of understand the main concept. You need to be in a calorie deficit of around 500 calories. And as a result, you will start to lose body fat and see your abs over a consistent period of time. You just need to do this for a long, long time and expect no results. That's all it takes. I think the person who succeeds is the one who can just withstand the mental turmoil that comes from cutting and not seeing results. Because the truth is, you can't choose where you lose fat. If you're in a calorie deficit, you are losing fat. There is no doubt about it. That's how science works. You have to be losing fat because you are burning more than you are consuming. You just can't choose where you burn it from. So you could be losing it from your leg, your hand, your wrist, your neck. But we all just tend to look in the mirror and look at our abs and see, well, that's not moving, so we must not be doing something right. And then we drop the calories, body goes into starvation mode. It never fucking works. Instead, stick with the plan, focus on the inputs, and understand that you are losing body fat. You just can't choose where. This has happened to me so many different times where you wake up 2 weeks later and you look in the mirror and you're just shocked at the results because you stayed consistent. So that's all you got to do. And to make sure that you're only losing body fat and you're not losing muscle and becoming skinny, which is not what you want, keep your protein high and keep your training intense. And when I say intense, I mean track your lifts and make sure that you're going into every session with the sole intention of beating the logbook every single week. Because if you do that, if you get stronger and you're losing weight, you're losing body fat. You're losing weight through body fat. You're not losing muscle. There's no doubt, because in order for you to have got stronger, something must have happened. If that makes sense. Now, I want you to understand one thing. If you're new to the gym, get this out of your head that you need the six pack, because it's the fastest way to fall out of love with the gym, and also just the slowest way to get to your ideal physique and get the six pack in the right way. Because the hard part is growing muscle, and you need to be focusing on growing muscle from the minute you get started into the gym. And the way you do that is in a calorie surplus. Now, the calorie surplus is the opposite of a deficit, and that's where we're going to be gaining a little bit of fat. So just understand that gaining fat is going to be inevitable. Abs are going out the window for the first year or two, just to make sure that we grow that muscle. Because if we do the alternative and we just bring the calories down, we go straight into a deficit and get our abs, yes, you'll look pretty ripped, but you'll look skinny. And I don't think anyone wanted to start the gym to look skinny ripped. You want to look big, aesthetic, and then ripped. And the way you do that, unfortunately, is for a long surplus to start with. And then we trim the fat and we diet, we go for the calorie deficit, and then show the kind of definition that we built through that muscle growth. But that's what you need to prioritize from the start. I've seen it with clients who come in, they just want abs instantly. Doesn't work like that. So I like to kind of set that from the start. You can do it, but you're just going to go around in circles, and it takes too long. Focus on one thing at a time. Now, if you have done what I've said and you're at a point where you've bulked up, you have substantial muscle mass, and you've been bulking for a long time, then it's time to push the deficit week in, week out. We make sure we're on a 300 to 500 calorie deficit. We dynamically increase the deficit depending on how much weight you're losing. And then we can even throw in extras like adding cardio on top of that, train abs to kind of really push out and, get that definition what you're after. And then just making sure to stay consistent, keeping it sustainable. If you eat, foods that are hard to consume on a daily basis, you're eating so many vegetables and fruits and, or you're cooking so much, it's going to be difficult. So I like to eat something I enjoy every single day. And I just have a little tricks that I like to keep in, just kind of fasting in the morning, drinking coffee. There's a whole video on this on my channel that I'd recommend watching. But the main takeaway I want you to know is you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to be training your abs if you want to get that extra definition. You don't need to do it. But the main thing is going to be a calorie deficit and just staying consistent. I think people don't stay consistent enough, so they don't see the results. It depends on what body fat you start at, but expect to be cutting for around 4 to 6 months. All right, that's what I'd say if you want to get really, really lean. I'm February now, around 10%. I think I started at 12. I'm going to be going for 6%, and that's going to probably take me until the rest of summer. And I'm not judging it by how I look. I'm judging it by how I'm feeling. Is my weight going down? Are my calories good? Focus on the inputs, essentially. If you can focus on the inputs and you do this consistently, you will get to your goal. That's very, very simply how you get a chiseled six-pack. You just focus on losing body fat, and you do that for a calorie deficit. You want to take it a step further? Train some abs. But make sure you're only doing this once you've got substantial muscle mass. If you haven't got enough muscle to warrant the cut, you will just look skinny again, and you go around in circles. But that's essentially all you need to do. I just wanted to clear that up. It's not about the exercises you do, it's about the basics and the nutrition. So if you can get that all right, you'll be absolutely sweet. But yeah, that's today's video. Tomorrow will be another one posted at the exact same time, and I will keep it up every single day for the rest of this year. So until tomorrow, fellas, catch you on the next one.